On behalf of the India Today Group, I am delighted to welcome you all to this first India Today School Education Summit. We thank you for taking time out from your busy schedules to discuss, debate, and come up with solutions in a vital area which determines the future of our country and, of course, all our children. India Today has always been at the forefront of the great debates of our nation. In our 40th year, with the first school summit, we hope to answer the most fundamental question of all which our nation faces. May I now invite Dr. Madhav Chavan to deliver his keynote address on the Agenda for Change, Molding the Future. Dr. Chavan, may you please come here. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Chavan.
So I would like to start with a story which many of you may have heard. So there was this emperor who wanted 3 swindlers how somehow got into the act, and they weaved nothing, but they pretended that they were putting clothes on the emperor. And then the emperor paraded into the city and everybody said, wow, what lovely clothes, while the emperor was completely stark naked. Until one kid shouted, but he is naked. And then all hell broke loose. And there was a realization that nobody wanted to say what was a fact. So in many ways, I think the school education system is this stark, naked emperor, and everybody can see it. The municipal schools are emptying out. 70% children go to private schools. So why are those 30% children going to government schools? Why can't we make just everything government-aided, privately run schools? A question could be asked. The number of children in rural areas who go to private schools is about approaching 50% or higher. So we are actually now dividing India down the middle. And that is a huge crisis. And we are not willing to recognize and do something about it because everybody is talking about the top 10, 15% and what their problems are. And so you got to fix the base first. If you don't fix the base is so broken. And if you don't fix it, then more and more children will not go up if that is the intent.
What is it that you would recommend to Ms. Smriti Irani if you had to make the policy for school education?
Set basic learning goals stage-wise, not grade-wise. That is the mistake we make.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chavan. It's been most... Please give him a round of applause. Thank you.
One child, one teacher, one pen, and perhaps one click of a button can change the world. That's what we're going to debate today. And we have really tremendous panel. I'm very happy to announce them, their names. Ashish Dhawan, Professor Govinda, Meeta Sengupta, please do come on stage and we'll start the discussion.
I used to ask earlier the question, people who accompany me from the government and other people and all, a good question is that, oh, you are all complaining about the schools. Will you send your children to this school? I don't ask that question. I keep asking them that, would you be ready to be a teacher in this school and ensure that all children learn all the curriculum that is prescribed? I find that it's completely silent. When they open up, they say, yeah, but you know, there are no facilities here. There is nothing available here. I think if you want to change, if children have to learn, only one person who can make it happen, that is the teacher. And what are we investing in the teacher? I tell you, zero. We need to really invest in the teachers if we want to really transform education system in this country. I think we need to really, government has to take the responsibility. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ashish?
I think technology is not the manna from heaven. We need a robust assessment system. I think we should try various models and hold these private schools accountable, have greater transparency. I think we need a website, a choose my school kind of website where the board exam results and all kinds of information, the fees, the number of children that are dropping out, all of that for every private school is made available so that parents can look at this. And there's a much greater degree of accountability for private schools there as well. And if we do that, I think private schools will improve because by definition, the accountability in that system is already better. Thank you.
Thank you. Meeta?
Thank you very much. But when we talk about value education, to be honest, I find it utterly ridiculous when you have a question for that in the exam paper. How do you test for values? You can never test for values. Values are not necessarily only about your roots. Values are not necessarily just about looking back. Values are about your ability to build your community, your nation, and the world, to build a future that works for everybody. When we are talking about schools, values are also about being schooled in a term that I say that we should all create a movement. This is about creating corporate citizenship. It's time to move away from one way of doing things to diverse ways of doing things. And we need to build more diversity into the system. This is what I'd like to share with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to quickly ask all three of you, what is that one thing that you would recommend to the government, given that they're actually redrafting the education policy 30 years after the old one?
For the younger classes, multilingual learning. Primary level multilingual learning.
I would say a massive investment in teachers and principals.
It requires a good school mapping exercise to be done, which for consolidation to happen. I think that is the biggest boost that can happen.
Well, it's time for our keynote speech. And to introduce Mr. Vishwanathan is a privilege. Well, his life story has been quite an inspiration. He was born in a village and staying true to his purpose, he went on to study in the best educational institutions across the world, including Harvard Business School. He's contested elections, won elections, and has been an elected representative, and of course, has gone on to lay the foundation of VIT University in 1985. And rest this says history. Sir, can I please invite you to deliver the keynote address?
Good afternoon. We are the second largest education system in the world. All of us know that we have 23 crores of children in schools, with almost 15 lakhs of schools, both in the government as well as in the private sector. We are happy generally with the quantity of education. And what about the quality? We live in a globalized world, and we have to compare ourselves where we are in the world competition. We have modernized kitchens in our own home. We have modernized petrol pumps. We have modernized jewelries. We have modernized groceries. But we have not modernized our schools and classrooms. I feel that we must modernize our schools and classrooms. Thank you very much.
Our next panel is on 21st century learning, new challenges. Can I please invite my colleague Prachi Butcher, Deputy Editor, India Today, to please introduce our next panel. Prachi.
We have Dr. Timothy Fryer, also Pooja Thakur, Dr. Sunil Mittal, and Chandrabhushan Sharma. So I'd like to invite all of you up on stage, please.
Namaskar. We at schools are accountable to a large extent for the individual who's stepping out of our portals. We need to rethink, we need to relook, and renew our current methodologies, and more importantly, in fact, most importantly, the desired outcomes. What do we want?
Good afternoon, friends. And thank you for having me here, India Today. If Gandhi and Mandela had been forced into becoming Gandhi to stay a lawyer, we wouldn't have had Gandhi. He would have just been a barrister. So that has to be encouraged in the system. Today we know from neuroscience research, so what you experience, even right now, actually shapes the brain. And that's why it's a huge responsibility on the educational system to look at these innovative measures, looking at mental health issues and actually then giving a feedback to the school teachers, counselors, and the parents on what is best for the child. And I think that can become an essential part of an educational system. Thank you very much.
A few days back, I met a girl at Chennai. The girl is 14 years. She came with her father, and they were both in tears. They said, If NIOS was not there, I don't know what would I have done. I did not want to continue with the schooling because I wanted to be a mountaineer. And at 14, this girl is going to climb Mount Everest in June without oxygen. The school gave her option that either you continue with the school or you do mountaineering. She decided to continue with schooling and mountaineering both. If we want a different 21st century, and it will be a different 21st century only if we don't leapfrog stages of development, if we do not use technology for reaching education to the learners. Unfortunately, we often browbeat that we have this many mobile. We are one country which has the largest number of mobiles. Unfortunately, such mobiles would not reach education if our teachers are not able to handle those mobiles. Just having mobiles will not reach education. So we need to teach teachers to use machines.
Good afternoon, and I'd like to thank India today for this invitation. I've been in India for 6 months, so I do feel very honoured, and thank you again. We need to focus on life skills, as other members of the panel have alluded to, such as communication, flexibility, being a team player, and using a common sense, pragmatic approach to problem solving. Schools also vitally need to help students to build resilience through providing public speaking and leadership opportunities from a young age, and by helping them to explore techniques such as mindfulness so they can keep their feet firmly on the ground. Thank you very much.
What is the role of discipline?
I think firstly, change the perception of discipline, then go into proactive discipline. And the end of discipline should be self-discipline.
Yes, and also boundaries. Students need very, very clear boundaries.
And boundaries need to be set not only in the school but at home.